Beaming royals are pictured together as Eugenie stuns in Hollywood-inspired evening gown in first official pictures from her wedding day, and Fergie standing next to Prince Philip. The first official pictures of Princess Eugenie's wedding have revealed the bride's stunning evening gown, a regal peach-colored dress designed by Zac Posen, who said he was inspired by the beauty of Windsor Castle and the surrounding countryside. The images also show the bride kissing her new husband Jack Brooksbank, posing with the Queen and the royal family and smiling with her page boys and bridesmaids. In the family photos, taken in the White Drawing Room at Windsor, Eugenie's mother Sarah Ferguson is pictured next to Prince Philip, who is said to have ostracized her from the royal family during the 1990s. An image of the bridal party shows Theodora, daughter of Robbie Williams and wife Ada Field, standing right next to Mr. Brooksbank, who rests his hand on her shoulder. Future King Prince George is looking at the camera with a beaming smile next to sister Princess Charlotte, who is dangling her legs with her feet crossed. Friday's wedding was believed to be the first time Philip and Fergie had been pictured together in 26 years after she was cast out from the royal family following her divorce from Prince Andrew in the 1990s. While he once viewed her fondly, the now 97-year-old declared her persona non grata in 1992 after she was pictured topless having her toes sucked by American lover Johnny Bryan. The Duke of Edinburgh is also said to have prevented other royals from bailing her out during periods of financial difficulties and cannot fathom her continuing closeness to ex-husband Prince Andrew. On Friday, a grinning Fergie gave a big sigh of relief as she took her seat in the chapel for the wedding ceremony, and spent a great deal of time waving at guests in the pews opposite. But she remained composed and kept her head slightly lowered when her former father-in-law Philip passed her to take his seat in the row behind. One intimate black and white image shows the couple having a kiss inside the Scottish stagecoach as they return to Windsor Castle after the carriage procession. In another image, taken at the York family home, Eugenie wears her beautiful evening gown while looking lovingly at her new husband, who is smiling at the camera and holding her hand. The White Rose of York, a nod to her upbringing as Princess Eugenie of York, is subtly embroidered on both the shoulder and back, which hold together the cape. Eugenie set off her evening look with diamond and emerald drop earrings, which were a wedding gift from the groom, and a hair slide belonging to the Queen. Buckingham Palace said designer Posen, a fan of the golden days of Hollywood, was inspired by the beauty of Windsor and the surrounding countryside, adding that the color of the dress reflected the blush of an English rose. The silk for the gown came from Biddle Sawyer silk, the palace said. The newlyweds are said to be delighted to share the 4 photographs, which were taken by British fashion and portrait photographer Alex Bramall. Earlier, Robbie Williams and his wife Ada dressed up for the second night of festivities to celebrate Princess Eugenie's wedding after a Friday night bash laid on by Andrew and Fergie. The singer, who led the festivities at a fairground-themed bash with an impromptu performance of Angels, wore an embroidered jacket for day 2, while his wife, who shared the picture on Instagram, wore a dark green jumpsuit. Comedian Jack Whitehall also posted footage of guests slitting their hair down in the marquee as royal wedding guests flouted a social media ban from the party at the Royal Lodge Windsor. Irene Forte shared a picture of a fairground ride on Instagram with fellow guests Marissa Montgomery and Saloni Lodha as Saturday night's second round of festivities got underway. Kate Moss and her daughter Lila, Demi Moore and Liv Tyler were among the other stars who changed into fresh outfits as the festivities continued. Maid in Chelsea's Ollie Proudlick, who attended with his fiancée Emma Louise Connolly, wore a scarf embroidered with pictures of Princess Eugenie and her new husband. Guests downed Casamigos margaritas and tucked into snacks from a gourmet pizza truck at the end of last night's party, which lasted until the early hours, with Zoe de Givenchy, mother of page boy Louis, declaring the night was still young in a snap from the after-party at 1 a.m. Pixie Geldof was among the glamorous guests to share a selfie in her evening party outfit on Friday night, after changing into a figure-hugging tiger print dress for the festivities, while Eugenie's close friend Lady Melissa Percy posted an Instagram snap showing her larking about in the marquee. At the wedding breakfast, Prince Andrew delivered an anecdote about Eugenie's new husband Jack mistakenly obeying orders intended for the family Highland Terrier of the same name. The Duke of York told a wonderful joke in his speech. a guest said. He recalled that his dog Jack was sitting on a chair and he shouted, "Jack, get off." The dog didn't move, he said, but Jack Brooksbank shot up and fled. Andrew also dispensed with royal protocol and gave Jack a big hug in front of guests including the Queen, in what onlookers called a human moment. The Queen and the Duke of York have paid for Eugenie and Jack's 3 wedding parties from their own funds, the palace has said. The bridesmaid is finally the bride. Adorable picture shows Eugenie at wedding of royal nanny 25 years ago. The white dress is pristine, the bouquet of flowers studded with greenery. The only difference between Princess Eugenie's wedding day and this adorable picture of her as a bridesmaid is a more guarded expression and some extravagant bows and frills. Taken in 1993 at the wedding of former royal nanny Alison Wardley to royal bodyguard Ben Dady, Eugenie would play the bridesmaid twice more before becoming the bride 25 years later. In September 1995, she and sister Beatrice appeared in white at the wedding of their mother's former PA Christine Gallagher to stockbroker Greville Ward, and then in 2000 when Fergie's former butler Ian Lowe married Claire Kemper. Eugenie cuts a stunning figure and a piece of cake. Bride slices into 5-tiered ivy-covered cake in front of her happy guests. It is a traditional wedding tableau. The bride and groom stand poised to cut the cake. But Eugenie chose a subtle update on the classic design, a 5-tier red velvet and chocolate cake inspired by the colors of autumn. The towering creation, made by London-based cake designer Sophie Cabot, is covered in ivy, apparently to reflect the newlyweds' home, Ivy Cottage, at Kensington Palace. It consists of 3 tiers of red velvet and 2 of chocolate sponge cake covered with buttercream and white icing, and was mounted on a golden stand in St. George's Hall at Windsor Castle. It contained up to 400 eggs, at least 53 packs of unsalted butter, 15 kilograms of organic self-raising flour and 20 kilos of sugar. Baker Sophie came to the attention of the couple through the Duke of York's Pitch at Palace program. After meeting the couple several times to finalize the design, she began working on the cake in July and started baking on Wednesday in Buckingham Palace's kitchens to ensure it was ready on time. Revealed, why Eugenie and Jack's wedding kiss was the most intimate any royal couple has shared, after the relieved groom overcame his nerves to put on a display of passion. With the eyes of millions on them, Princess Eugenie and her new husband Jack Brooksbank sealed their union with a kiss. The first public kiss is a traditional part of any royal wedding, but yesterday's moment between Jack and Eugenie was the most intimate, compared with any we've seen in the past. Jack, 32, held his new bride in a 2-armed embrace by her groom, with his right hand on her waist. And even after the kiss ended, Jack's hand appeared to linger on her. Body language expert Judy James told Mail Online, Harry and Meghan might have claimed the title of the royal family's most tactile and openly sensual couple, but Jack and Eugenie's first kiss on the steps of the chapel turned out to be the most intimate royal wedding kiss yet. Since Charles first kissed Diana on the balcony after first asking permission of his mother, the royal kiss has tended to involve lips-only touch, without any other touch to act as the normal guidance and steering. This has led to difficult choreography that can make the kiss look awkward and over-rehearsed. Jack's body language before and during the ceremony signaled high levels of nervousness and emotions that resulted in tears and a difficulty in holding hands and getting the wedding ring on. During the kiss, though, he appeared to opt for a spontaneous display of love and an overwhelming desire to hug his beautiful new wife close. Breaking with tradition, he placed both hands around her waist, which allowed for a brief but more intimate kiss where both could get momentarily lost in the moment. Like all great kissers, Jack also pressed his eyes shut as he kissed, and we can see from the way his nose is pressed into Eugenie's cheek that he was gently getting as close as possible. These are techniques we use to magnify the pleasure of a kiss by focusing on the lip touch and spatial intimacy. He seemed keen to have Eugenie to himself after all the tension of the service, and I suspect that had it not been such a public event he might happily have whisked her off her feet.